Hello and welcome back to Photizo Fashion Academy. My name is Thelma and today I want to show you how to draft a basic dress pattern or a basic dress block, right? So before we get into the drafting of this pattern, I would like to explain some things that I believe are going to be very beneficial to you before you draft your pattern. So the first one is knowing the size to work with when drafting your pattern. Now, to know that size depends on two things. The first one is, are you drafting this pattern just for yourself, like you make dresses for yourself only, you don't really make for others? If this is the situation, then you just draft this pattern in your exact size. But if you make dresses for other people or you make other sizes, you have to use a standard measurement to draft your pattern. So let me explain why you need to do so. For example, my measurement, my bust measurement is 36, my waist measurement is 29, and my hip measurement is 37.5. Now, looking at it on the UK size chart, it is around, I will be a size 8, right? I can work with a size 8. So what am I going to do? When I want to draft my pattern, I'm going to work with a size 8, UK size 8 size chart. Because when I have my pattern in that size 8, I can easily tweak it later to fit my size. With that same size 8 pattern, I can upgrade it to fit a size 10, a size 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 and the likes. With that same very pattern, I can downgrade to fit size 6, size 4 and the likes. So because I have it in a standard size chart, which is size 8, I can grade it up or downwards. But if I have it in my own measurement, my own exact measurement, it will be very, very difficult to grade this thing. And if I do it, you may not be able to get the other person's size you are working with. So the best thing is work with a standard measurement, then tweak it to fit you, right? And that way you have a working pattern that you can always tweak to fit any size that you want to work with. Because in the first place, creating a basic pattern is so that it's just like a guide, a template helping you, so that anytime you want to make a dress, you don't need to start from the very scratch. You just need to work with what you have and grade it to fit in whatever thing you want to, or whatever size rather you want to work with. I have the skirt block here, and this skirt block is from size 4 to size 20. I am able to do so because I drafted it with a standard measurement. Then I graded it to fit in all sizes. So the next thing is the circumference of the body will be needing to draft a basic block. So the first thing, you need your bust measurement, your waist measurement, and your hip measurement. These are the basic measurements you really need, and also your upper chest measurement, right? So now that we've cleared this part, let's just get right into the video. So these are the things we'll be using to draft out this pattern: our paper, scissors, tracing wheel, pen, and our measuring tape. So now that we've gotten that, let's just go right ahead. So this is my starting line. All my measurements will start from this line. The first measurement I want to take is my shoulder measurement. I'm just going to mark from the beginning of this to this point. I'll mark my shoulder measurement. So whatever you have for your shoulder, you put it there. Here I'm using 7 inches for the shoulder. Then from that shoulder line, or from that start line, yes, which is the shoulder line as well, I'm going to mark 10 inches, which is going to serve as my bust line for this measurement. Also, I'm going to mark out my waistline, which is 16 inches, and my hip line as well, which is 23 inches, 7 inches from the waist. So now I'm just going to rule out lines for this point I have marked. So this is where we're going to be taking all our measurements. So these are bust line, our waistline, and the hip line as well. Now to get the chest line, you just go 2 inches above your bust line. It will give you the chest line, or you can divide your bust measurement into 6, then add 1.5, whatever you have, add 1.5, so that will be your chest line. So here 2 inches above the bust is what I'm using, and at this point I'm just connecting that point to the shoulder and marking it out like so. So this is going to be our chest line or upper bust measurement. Now the next thing we want to do is to get the middle of this point, the middle of these lines. I have my upper bust line to be 7 inches, so the half of it is 3.5 inches. So this is another way you can use to get your middle point. So I'm just going to mark that out. At that middle, I'm going to come in with 1/2 inch. I'm just going to mark that out. Now from the shoulder to that point, that new point, and here I'm going to put in our bust measurement. If you have your upper bust measurement, you put it here. If not, you can put your bust measurement at this point. So I'm going to connect from the shoulder to that point we marked in, and also this bust line or the bust measurement. So I'm just going to join these 3 points together. So after joining this point together, this is what we have. We have our armhole curve. So now the next thing we want to do is to put in our horizontal measurements. So which is now the bust measurement. You put in your bust measurement, your waist measurement, and your hip measurement. This is the waist measurement, 28 inches divided by 4 is 7. The hip divided by 4, whatever you have is there. So on this waistline, I'm going to add 1 inch for the dart allowance, our dart intake. 1 inch. I'm adding that 1 inch only on the waistline. So here I'm just transferring the measurement I have on my chest line to the bust line as well. So now I'm going to connect these points together. Remember, it was only on the waistline I added 1 inch that will serve as my dart intake. So I'm just going to give this a little curve because our waist is not just sharp. So now let's go to the dart. For you to get taking your dart, you have to measure your bust point, the distance between one nipple to the other nipple rather. So your nipple point, or you call it nipple to nipple or bust pan. So whatever you have there, you divide it into 2. Here I'm using 7 inches. So 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5. So I had put that 3.5 for both the bust, the waist, and the hip, and I connected it with a straight line. From this bust line, you come down with 1 inch, and on the hip line, you go up with 2 inches. Then on the waistline, you take in the 1 inch that you have left out. You take it 1/2 inch on one side and 1/2 inch on the other side. Then now you connect these points together like so. Connect the first to the second point and to this hip to the third point, which is the third point. So after doing it for this part, you go ahead to do it in the second part. So good, now we have our dart. And to get the back measurement as well, I'm just going to, instead of me to draft out from the back again, starting from the beginning, I'm just going to mark out the armhole curve for the back. We are going to be using this same pattern to cut out the back. Also, that neckline, I just put a random neckline because, of course, you are going to always adjust it. This is just a basic block. So for the back neckline, I'm marking down 1.5 inch. I'm just connecting it to that 3 inches point. So this neckline, trust me, is basic. Okay, so now we have cut out the front. I realized when I was cutting out, that we missed a step, our shoulder slope. So just come down from your shoulder line with 1 inch, then down 1 inch, just connect it back to the neckline. We've done this severally on the channel before, so it's not new. 1 inch from the shoulder line to get your shoulder slope, just connect it back to the neckline and you cut it out. So now I am cutting both the back and the front. I put a paper under this front to cut the back, so that's why I see everything I'm cutting is for the back at first, not the front. So now this is both the back and the front. What I want to do is to trace out the front measurement on the back, so I don't need to start drafting everything from the beginning. So I'm just going to use this tracing wheel to mark out major lines. These lines I'm marking, it will show on the paper I put under for the back. So I'm just using this tracing wheel to mark out this line. So now I'm taking it out. I've taken the front measurement out. I'm just drawing the whole lines the tracing wheel gave me for the back. So this is how I'm doing to get the back. Instead of starting from the very scratch again, this is how I used to draft my back block. So I'm just connecting all the lines together that I traced out. So now this is our back block. So what we just need to do now is we have our waistline, hip line, as well, everything we had on the front. So now what we need to do, the first thing is to extend this line from the bust line to the chest line, like so, the straight line. So here on this straight line is where we'll come down with 1 inch. Unlike the front, we came down on the bust line, but for the back we are coming down with 1 inch from the chest line. Then also at the hip line we come up with 2 inches, just like we did before, and also taking our dart intake 1/2 inch on both sides, as we did on the waist, as we did before as well. So we just connect the points together. That's all for the back. The only difference at the back is that chest line. That's where you are going to take out your 1 inch from. So now I'm just labeling this pattern. These are center front, is going to be cut on 4. These are bust line, waistline, hip line, and these are center back, is going to be cut ×2. These are that I'm notching my hammer curve and notches. So this is what we have. Now a quick tip or extra or bonus: if you want it to be a dress, my pattern is not long, but if yours is longer and it's a dress you are trying to draft from the beginning, all you need to do is just put the length of the dress, whatever, to get the hem for that dress. Just put the length, and whatever you have at your hip, just draw a straight line down to the length of the dress you have. That is all too for both the back and the front. Thank you.